Turn me up on my headphones. Yeah, just a little bit clearer. I'm in the booth. I'm feeling it. I'm ready. It's your boy. Welcome to the show and thank you for tuning in. Your host Tyler and Richard, let the ruckus begin. Whether you like Valleys or Nikes or caffeine or Adderall, all the homies press play, allow your minds to be freed. So come on, wired and wondering, high, something like dopamine, caffeinated fiends. Oh, explore the galaxy, save the memories, bring in the cheddar cheese now. What, wired and wondering, high, something like dopamine, caffeinated fiends. Oh, explore the galaxy, save the memories, bring in the cheddar cheese now. Wired and wondering.
Freaking,
Is that really the start?
yes.
That's the pedal?
I have a foot pedal for that reason. I mean, like, for the reason of, so I don't have to, like, leave the application and have the hotkey set up.
I love it.
No, because when you're in game, dude, and you click out, it, like, kills the game. You have to go back, and sometimes when you click out, like, it'll minimize the window, so I just have the foot pedals. It used to be, like, mute and unmute when I was live streaming, but no, I want to make... You laugh now.
I'm laughing because of how, like, ingenious it is.
It's brilliant.
It really is brilliant. I think, like, I'm done. Just
That's
click,
click. Literally what it is. There's start record and stop record. Like
I gotta get some foot pedals.
No, it's
not to play any games, but just for that.
it's clutch. No, it comes in clutch.
That's the ultimate. Like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, no, that's makes life easier for me, and then I could just keep going instead of having like click out of the window and click into the window, start again. Like back-to-back episodes become a lot easier with a foot pedal.
Oh yeah.
You know, macro pads and hotkeys and all this shit. Like it just.
Have you seen those clips of that kid playing Warzone, and he's using two PS5 controllers?
No, I've seen a dude playing Warzone with like playing a flute.
Yeah. And then you have the guy that's doing the he's on the unicycle, and he has the keyboard and mouse mounted onto the unicycle. Yeah, and he's playing. And dude, he's ranked like high up there. He's ranked high up. I don't remember the ranking, but the guy, I was watching a reaction of it, and this group of YouTubers that like are like apparently like big in like the ranking. They're like, this guy's even higher than we are. And I was just,
what the fuck?
Yeah. But yeah, there's like this guy who's like, this kid is using two PS5 controllers. I don't know if he's on a PC or not. I don't know how he has it set up to where he can use two at the same time, but he's using it. He's like holding it like this, like on each side.
That's so
and just going like,
weird.
Yeah, with two controllers. I don't get it. I don't get it. Hey. People are excited about the Switch 2, and you can be able to use the Joy-Con as a mouse, and I'm like, you guys are stupid, bro. Like, you're paying $500 for equipment that doesn't even surpass your your Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's Nintendo.
Well, yeah, that's always what it's been.
But like, come on, man. Like,
by the time the SP came out, the advanced SP, there was the PSP, and that was already further ahead.
Well, so I get
Nintendo
that.
is always wanted to do like cartridges. And the only time they've been disc was the fucking GameCube.
But those games back then
and the Wii.
Those games back then didn't have the same computing power as like as far as like a PSP to the Game Boy Advance. The games that they were making for the Game Boy Advance wasn't like strong computing power comparatively to the PSP and working the games that they had on there. So I get the difference of that, but now it's caught up. I feel like I mean, look at the Zelda games. Like, those are really high def games for Nintendo, and I'm sure that what it takes to run those games, I'm not saying it's the same as fucking running like Madden or anything like that, but like it's still kind of up there. But they're just giving you just meh equipment, you know.
Well, I think that's what their thing is now. Is they're like they can't compete other places, so now it's just handheld competition. Which even still, like you said, the Steam Deck, and then you have the whatever it is, the PlayStation
Vita,
not the Vita, the new PlayStation Portable, like the full, it's like a PS5 in your hand.
Yeah. And
then you have the ROG. Like, all this handheld gaming is just now surpassed because you can literally have a pocket PC pretty much.
Yeah.
That can, I mean, the Steam Deck can run AAA games, which is insane.
Yeah.
Granted, it's like an hour and a half, so you're not gonna get, you know, if you're playing Cyberpunk on it, you're gonna get like an hour and a half, and the thing gets fucking scorching hot.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the fan kicks in, it's loud as shit, but it's like, yeah, you know,
I mean,
baby steps.
I don't know. Like, you have the portable aspect, which I find can be useful, but having switched over to PC, like, I'm not gonna play fucking Warzone or Apex Legends or any of these multiplayer games on the Steam Deck. If I'm gonna use the Steam Deck, I'm gonna play like games that doesn't require me to like sit there and actually put like much attention to.
Right.
Like, I'd probably play Madden or college football or whatever. Like, I don't even think I would want to play like Jedi Fallen Order or anything like that on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, no, a lot of mine are just like simple. Like majority of my time on the Steam Deck is just a simple game, like fucking Binding of Isaac, or like even V Rising can be dumbed down into like a handheld version. But I mean, still, you're limited by buttons. You're also limited by power. So I mean, I could go play, you know, a AAA game for an hour and a half, but then I can play Binding of Isaac for 5 hours on it if I'm on like a flight or something.
Yeah.
And it's USB-C charging, so it's faster. But just yeah.
I mean, honestly, I probably use it for the aspect of playing like Minecraft.
Well, yeah, and then there's the emulation that you can do on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it'll hold more, and it can do all the way up to PS3 and Xbox 360. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you catch me playing Midnight Club or like Burnout 3 Takedown Revenge. Like,
I got that. Fuck, speaking of Midnight Club 3, I got it working on my phone.
Oh, yeah?
PS2 emulator working on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is amazing. I got for my birthday, got a backbone.
Oh, did you?
It's so fucking clutch, man.
Yeah.
It's so clutch at work because I used to bring my Steam Deck to work. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then they started cracking on everyone for like everything that's not work related, because people would be like, oh, we don't have people coming in. And they're like, well, there's always work to do.
Like,
so now it's like, well, I'm on my phone, so you can't really tell me shit, and I'll just be.
See, that's the thing, right? Like, when there's nobody coming in, all right. Now all of a sudden we turn from salesmen to fucking cleaning people. Like, that's not in our like list of duties to, as far as like what we're signed up for.
Like general upkeep, fine, but like,
sure.
Why pay a cleaning company to come clean if you're just gonna have your employees deep clean? You know?
Exactly. Like, what's the point of that? Because you don't want to sit there and get mad at employees for not having anything to do.
I frankly don't care. There's other people bitching that customers ain't coming. I was like, I don't care. I'm chilling here. I'm getting paid to be here, and you got to pay back. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
You know, but this,
like, the other day, my job, I was like saying like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of more things I can complain about, but I choose not to. And one of the other employees, he's like, oh yeah, like what? I'm like, oh, like how we're supposed to take 15-minute breaks. It's mandatory to where we can sit down, be paid, and like we could do what we would want to do, like be on your phone or anything like that. Like, oh well, when we're not working, when there's no cars in the bay, that's your free time. I'm like, okay, but if Big Daddy Adolfo, our district manager, is here, could you say that that's what you can do when there's no cars in here?
No, hell no.
Exactly. So are you really taking a break, or are you just not doing anything because there's nothing to do? You have to find things to do in order for him to not get on you. And even he said it. He's like, I don't know why, but I don't like it when people aren't doing anything. And I'm like, bruh, like, I can wipe down the rails. I could clean the oil spouts. I could clean the windows, sweep, mop, do every little thing that you can think of cleaning, and I can get it done within 2 hours. I could clean the bathrooms too while I'm at it. And after that, there's nothing else for me to do. So what then?
Yeah.
What then? Like, what?
See, when I was manager of places or like supervisor of places, like, I don't give a fuck what you do, as long as A, you don't get anybody in trouble, and B, like, you do your job.
Yeah.
You're here for fucking 8 hours. If you're like, you have to do something within that 1 hour, as long as that job gets done. I don't care what else you do for the 7 other fucking hours.
Yeah.
Like, you could go fuck off if you want to, but as long as you're not going to get in trouble and your shit's done, cool.
Exactly. Like, if you have people signed up to work on days and there's not enough work to be done, unfortunately, that's the schedule. That's you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and it was always like it still is, where it's like people are like, "Can I go home?" I'd be like, "Later,
Yeah.
get out of here." Like, you don't want to be here? Cool, see ya.
Yeah.
Doing shit.
Yeah.
So it's dead. We don't need you later.
Yeah. And then they get mad. They're like, "Oh, there's not enough people on clock." Well, there's not enough work. So, what do you want? Do you want us to just sit there and fucking clean all day, cleaning over things that we already cleaned, or like, what's going on here? Is this a power trip? What's really happening here?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I will 100% just hang out at work and wait for customers to come in. I don't care.
Shit, if I was working there, bro, I'd be just because I have the emulator for like Game Boys on my iPhone. I'd just be playing Pokemon again.
Yep.
Instead of being on the DS, I'd just be on my phone playing. I just have it hooked up because I think burns my battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it scorches it, man. My phone's hot within like 20 minutes.
I'm still, fuck, dude. It would be clutch if we could figure out like the flipper to DS transfer.
Oh
instead
yeah,
of just Gen 1. I was like, I get it because there's all those extra fucking ports on top that, like, you know, you can do it. And like I said, I can emulate NFC tags, which is like what Amiibos are. Amiibos are NFC tags.
Yeah.
But like being able to literally like create Pokemon, like you're basically writing code on the flipper of so what Pokemon is, moveset level, everything.
Well,
and then moving it to that.
I mean, essentially, it's just like the what are they called? There's like a Game Sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're manipulating code.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one, you're basically tricking the Game Boy into being like, this is another Game Boy that has this Pokemon with these powers at this level. And it's like, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are people, there's a whole community behind Flipper that's just trying to push its fucking limits, which is why everybody wants it fucking banned, because there's so much you can do with that tiny little fucking $120 thing.
You were unlocking certain things. I caught myself from saying what they were. I'm not gonna say them online, but you were unlocking. Remember?
Yeah. No,
and it's crazy. It's crazy that you could just do that.
No, I don't care. It's not illegal to do it if you know it's for.
Well, I just didn't want
safety or entertainment. For the funny, it was, and you'll see this even when I see it when I'm charging my Tesla. You can pop the Tesla butthole, the charging port. You can pop it open because it's a radio frequency. But it's funny because we're like there's
Tesla bussy.
There's this Bougie charger that I go to that's in a bougie part of Fresno.
Yeah.
Where it's like obviously it's packed because
everybody wants to be there.
Everybody wants to be there. Well, there's like a yoga studio that's on the other side of like the parking area, not like the other side of the street.
That's good setup right there.
So what happens is in the lane, it also does like this half circle cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're rich, ignorant people, so they just park in that half circle area when they're not charging.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny, every time you see another Tesla pull up and like back into a spot to charge, when you pull off the charger, the ones that don't actually have like, the charging port open or charging, you'll see their door open because the frequency is strong enough to cross the street and they'll open their Tesla port, their charging port.
They're probably like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's that and it's all radio frequency shit. I mean, there's a bunch of shit you can do with the flipper and it's scary, Yeah. I mean, and people have put it out there too. Like, but if you know what you're doing, that thing can open doors and you can. Yeah, I need to. Before I get put on a government watch list, I need to shut up.
That's why I was hesitant to say exactly what it was.
No, but I do it for like network testing.
Oh, of course.
For network probe testing of my own networks to make sure my shit's good.
Yeah, yeah. I think that shit's fucking like awesome. Honestly,
it's no different. This is just a company that manufactures them. There have been people making remote hacking devices for decades.
Yeah.
This is just a popularized, anybody can buy it and doesn't need a whole shit ton of technical knowledge to run it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a basic aptitude of just I can press button and then it works.
But it's fucking like we were talking about fucking technology and how you're saying the BMW you could do this to change the fucking volume or whatever.
Yeah, you could do like that to change the song, go previous and whatnot.
Just with your fucking hands. See, that's like cameras are just watching you.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like Isabel put it like 0 to 100 in like less than like 4 blocks,
Jeez.
and she was saying that she doesn't know if it's because you could hear the horsepower, but she's like it's hybrid, so some cars make it to where you could hear the sound, but it's not actually like being displayed in reality.
Well, the hybrid still has an engine.
Yeah, but like some companies will just still put the like when you accelerate, they'll put the horsepower like engine
Like,
sound through the audio. Like
never.
that's what she was saying. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked it up myself.
No, I'm pretty sure the car's making that noise because the wifey's car does the same thing. I was like, wow, this sounds like really fucking loud. But I was like, okay, it is an SUV, so it does need a little bit more like power to get up and going.
I need to get in there and test it myself, and then lower down the windows and see if I actually hear it.
I mean, all you hear from mine is just like the engine, the you know the motor, little, not even the gas engine, the electric motor kicking in.
Well, like I mean, if you play GTA 5 online, they have those electric powered like supercars, and like you don't hear the horsepower, you just hear like the sound of what the Teslas make.
Yeah, just like the whine up of the motor, the electric motor. And that's why, like with all those electric cars, even hybrid cars, when it's backing up, that's why it has to make a noise, because you don't hear the car backing up. Mine sounds like a fucking spaceship. So does the wife's. She's like, God, I fucking hate that. I was like, well, people have to know you're backing up. There has to be a visual and auditory like.
Yeah, because like sometimes like they're
up.
so like silent.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? What? There was a car there? Shit's crazy, man. It's just crazy, like how things are getting. Like, I don't know how long it's gonna take till everybody actually gets off of gas.
I don't think it ever will be. Nobody will ever truly be off it, but the availability of electric cars is getting fucking like mental in terms of price point. Because even those tiny little slate trucks, the little Japanese gas trucks, now there's an electric version called Slate. That's
really
mega fucking cheap.
Oh yeah.
And then where it is, Tesla's coming out with like a $20,000 version.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's like, shit, okay, we're starting to.
Yeah, I mean, once they start making it more reasonable, I guess more people will get on it. I mean, you're also saving money. Like, I see the benefits of it.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. When even though I have to charge twice, like not fully, obviously, it's from 70 to 30 and then 30 to 90 or whatever, so I charge twice for 20-30 minutes a piece. It's $40, whereas my truck, to do that, I'd always have to fill up for gas, which was like $80, so I'm still saving comparatively in terms of mileage, whereas wifey's SUV, even though it's hybrid, goes 400 to 500 miles on a full tank. It takes $80 to fill it up. Well, a full charge for me is 330, and that's $25 to fully charge up. That's which is still like even if I double that, I'm still $30 ahead. And the maintenance is what makes it all worth it. Like, all I got to worry about is tires and brakes. That's it.
Yeah,
and maybe suspension, but suspension is so few and far between. Like, tires are going to be the most consistent thing that have to be replaced.
That was another thing. Like, you don't have to change your oil.
Nope.
The other day, I went up to a Tesla owner that was getting their car cleaned on the interior. I was like, we have to go to the lane sometimes and just ask people if they want oil changes. And I went up to him and I was like, I had like a little smirk and I was like, hey man, looking for oil change? And he like looks at me, looks at the car, and he looks at me again. He's like, it's and I'm already like kind of smiling already. I'm like, okay, I'm just joking with you. I have to do this. It's just for my humor. And he like sat there and he's like, I get it. You have to ask people to
my fucking sanity.
Because it's like ridiculous, like we go into the. Okay, so I remember watching a Hell's Kitchen episode where it's early in the seasons. It's like second season or third season, and Gordon Ramsay goes to this one sandwich shop, and the general manager is like has a sign for every single fucking holiday, every single like 50% off, 30% off, this, that, and the other. And Gordon Ramsay throws away all of his signs. And I see our oil change place have like a good amount of signs, and like they have a sign for each holiday and all of this other stuff. And I'm just like sitting here going like, guys, I've seen this before. You guys are stupid. You guys are wanting customers to come in under your own terms and doing what you want them to do, and you're seeing a drop off of business. I guess I don't know if you guys see the writing on the wall, but you guys aren't doing good if you have these many signs out, if you guys are this desperate to advertise. Because like recently we changed like how we do the oil change. You have to stay in the vehicle. Yeah, you have to stay in the vehicle.
That's just asking for something to go wrong. Are you talking about like the worker, or like the customer?
The customer has to stay in the vehicle.
They're gonna subconsciously like step on the brake or turn on the car or do something.
Well, anyways.
But they have to stay.
Yeah, they have to stay in the vehicle. So customers automatically don't like that. So they like have this hard rule, and it was because someone slipped and fell in Boston. I'm not too sure exactly the specifics, but we have a couple stores throughout the nation. So they sued the company, and then now the company's like, okay, nobody can get out of the vehicle, but customers are like, yeah, if you're not gonna let us out, we're gonna leave. So for like a whole 2 or 3 months, we were like hard pushing people to like not get out of the vehicle. Well, apparently business has been down, and we had an email the other day that nationwide, if the customer wants to get out of the vehicle, we can no longer tell them no. But what they did was they took all the seats out of the waiting room in the office. So it's psychological warfare right there. Like the customer is going to get out, and then they're going to go in the office, and then there's nowhere to sit. So the next time they're going to be like, well, now I'm just going to stay in the vehicle because there's nowhere to sit. But in my aspect, I'm like, they're just going to go somewhere else that's going to let them get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, that's the whole point of like mechanical work is you get out, you give them the key or something, so that they put the seat cover on, they put the steering wheel cover, they put the little thing on the floorboard.
They don't even do that.
That's how you do it, and then that way you prevent
oil getting anywhere.
Oil getting anywhere, and then your techs are able to drive over the oil change bay and not like fuck up the
Yeah.
And that's why you have insurance that'll cover like, oh, our tech accidentally, hit this or scratched the rim. Okay, cool. We got insurance to cover that.
Yeah.
And then that way a customer doesn't like, you're not sitting there be like, this way, no this way, no this way, no this way. And then fucking they panic because people will, and they gun it, and next thing you know, they're in the fucking ditch.
Yeah.
In the oil cave or whatever.
Yeah. It's I'm telling you, bro, like
I understand.
The more that I grow up, the more that I realize that most companies are just the higher ups are just monkeys throwing out orders and not really like they don't fucking understand. Like you have this like wide like gap of common sense that they just don't they don't think about the consequences of their actions.
They're still trapped. Think about it. They were in the industry when 10 20 years ago, and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this. So they are still operating off what they know from 10 to 20 years ago when they were in that position, and they're not adapting. They like, it's all dictator stuff. Wherever you go, they're not, which is why I've always respected a boss that's like, they're with you in the trenches doing exactly the same shit you're doing, because they're like, okay, they know.
Yeah.
And they can make those decisions. But then you have somebody higher up just being like, no, we should do this, this, and this. And then everyone's like, that doesn't work. Why are we doing that? And they're like, oh, because it'll maximize efficiency and profits. It's like, but that's going to inconvenience us or the customer or something.
Like the regional manager of the stores, the oil change stores, he wants customers out within 15 minutes of the grounds of the area. And I'm sitting here like, well, okay. If you want people to buy your products, wouldn't you want them to stay longer? Wouldn't you want them to be around more? if the customer's getting the feeling like we want them out of here as fast as possible, they're not gonna want anything else.
Yeah.
They're not gonna want the extra services, or they don't want to go inside the store and purchase your guys' drinks, your guys' different like things that you guys sell, or even the barber shop that they have.
I
Like,
forgot they have a barber shop
dude,
with that
because
shit.
it's so like nobody's outside or nobody's in the office to like purchase those things, and then they're like sitting here wondering like, oh, why do our customers, why are they dropping off? Why aren't they coming back? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? So then they go, okay, we want you guys to push reviews so that our review thing is 5.0, and we're constantly getting reviews so that when people look at our thing, they're like, oh, this is such a good service. We're going to come in. And obviously, like, not to say that we are all terrible, like, or we just don't like working with customers or whatever, but you don't need reviews in order for like someone to come in genuinely and then like get a good service.
No, but you're gonna look. I hate the fucking review shit, bro. I hate it. So everywhere that's like we need to focus on reviews, it's like no, the fuck we don't. As long as you're above like 4 point something, you're good. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, this one's got 4.7, but this one's got 4.5.
If they cared about reviews, they would care about their Indeed review.
Well,
And they don't.
I will tell you, if I'm gonna go read the reviews of somewhere, I'm not gonna look for like the ones that are like, this place was great, 10 out of 10. I'm gonna look for the ones that are like the worst. Be like, yo, what went wrong to have this person just completely and utterly shit on this place with 1 star?
Well, so funny enough, the district car wash manager got demoted because of 2 bad reviews back to back.
Yeah, that just sounds like.
And both were like, yeah, 50-year-old fat bald man yelling at his employees. I didn't like that. I'm not gonna come here if this is gonna be the way the service is.
Good.
And I was laughing so hard when I saw that, because to imagine the guy who was first managing the first store here in Bakersfield, and then takes over when more of the stores open up. He's been here for like, I don't know how, 20 something years, 30 something years managing these stores, and he gets demoted because he's being an asshole, and 2 customers back to back go, yeah, this fat bald man's a piece of shit.
Good.
That's so hilarious.
As it fucking should be.
One day he got mad at us, and we didn't even do anything wrong. He's like, why did that Jeep go in there? I need one of you guys to take the blame, because you're gonna get sent home, because one of those guys, one of the cars came in, the car wash was a Jeep, and it came from here. And our district manager was like, what is he talking about? We haven't had a car in like 20 minutes. We had 1 car, and that was like, I can't remember what it was. It was a Suburban or something like that. It wasn't a Jeep, because the Jeeps, you have to put like a red little fucking thing in there so that people know that it's Jeep, because it's a special way of throwing it into the car wash. I don't know what it is, but it's for people to know that that's
Be like, hey, you need, yeah, it's a Jeep.
So he's getting mad at us, yelling in front of a customer that we're working on their car. And that customer remembered, because the next time she came in, she's like, hey, is that guy around? And I was like, no. And she's like, okay, cool. He worked at my church one day or whatever, and he was an asshole, and he was an asshole to you guys. And I'm like, hey, as long as someone knows that it's not us and it's just him, I appreciate it. You know, I gave her a discount, and she didn't even ask for one, because you just do that. I don't know. People are just.
It's just crazy how like bad management can ruin a whole team.
Right now,
like not even just leadership, it's like higher ups at any. Because I've had so many jobs where like, this is amazing, and then just one bad apple above me, and it's like, wow, I'm fucking over it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to come to work anymore. I'm gonna go find something.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Amazon.
It's. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't understand the way. If you want a business to run good, it's almost like you have to be pieces of shit, because all these businesses that are still running good to this day, they just have bad management, man. They just have people that are in higher up positions that I don't even think they know what they're really doing. I don't believe that they like truly.
No, because they'll give you the story. Oh, I was in your position 20 years ago. Cool, that was 20 years ago in fucking early 2000. Everything's different now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, get down here, take your suit and tie off, come fucking, come work this line with us and see how it really is.
And to be honest, like, if you tell them the truth, you're gonna get outed easily.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's a negative person. Oh, they don't see how good it can be. They're just crying about every little thing. Like, are we, or are we just telling you the truth of the reality and you don't like that? You don't like the reality.
Oh, work as hard. If you work, hard, you can be where I am. No, I can't, because you're gonna fucking sit there and just soak it all up. And my only opportunity is if you die, retire, or transfer to a different market.
And to be honest, even then, like, they're just gonna be like, yeah, this person's a better choice. You should pick this person.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be like their nephew or
it's their ass. It's the ass.
Yeah.
It's the fucking ass kisser.
Yeah. It's disgusting, man.
Oh yeah, this is the top person. They're the best at doing the job. They sell, more than anybody else. Hey, but this guy goes golfing with me once a week. Yeah, he's gonna be the one.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the ass kiss, and that's the worst part. Is there's no like incentivization for a lot of these jobs for you to go that like route, which is why starting your own business makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Because then you do what you want, you do it how you want it, and then you fix all the issues that have been done to you, but you give it to your workers.
Yeah, well, that person that like was like trying to poke holes in like what I was talking about. I'm like, look, man, like, let's just be honest. We're slaves. You're a slave to the 40-hour work week, the same as I. Except the only difference is that I accept it. I call it for what it is. You don't. And he's like, I'm no slave. I'm no slave. I'm like, bro, you complain about not getting a 40-hour week. I'm sitting here complaining about not getting what we deserve on top of me not getting 40 hours a week. And you get it 40 hours a week because your grandpa worked here, your dad worked here, your uncle works here. So who has more to complain about, bro? Like, if you do something wrong, you don't have to worry. You're set. What, is they gonna fire you when your grandpa's still working there and your uncle's still working there? No, they're not. They're not gonna do anything. That's why you get to pick what you do.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got hired on as the same position that I am, and then you worked your way out of it, and they didn't care. If I were to have been like, after a week, like, no, I don't want to do this, I want to do that. Hell no. Hell no. My district manager tells my manager at my store, like, oh, I actually like Richard. Like, the fuck? If you really liked me, you'd give me 40 hours and not fucking send me home. If you really liked me, you wouldn't treat us like shit.
It's the smoke screen, bro.
Yeah, like, I don't care if you really like me or not. That's not my problem. My problem is that you sit there and ride my ass when you don't do that to anybody else. And I'm actually trying to do what you want me to do.
But he's just trying to make you better, Rich.
Are you?
I'm hard on you because I want you to do better.
It's like, fuck you, bro. What kind of bullshit is that?
Hey, that's how much I hold you to a higher standard because I expect more out of you. Why? Like, in the same position as this guy, and you're just letting him fucking
do whatever the fuck he wants.
Do whatever the fuck he wants. Give me that same benefit.
So I started acting like one of the other like employees, where I just go into like their like closet where they keep all the filters, and I'm just on my phone. I just sit there on my phone. And the other day, one of them was like, "Man, you're just sitting here while I'm busting my ass or something like that." And I was like, "Busting your ass doing what?" And then he's like, oh, "I just took out that whole filter." I'm like, "Hey, you're upper bay technician. I'm not scheduled for upper bay technician. If I was scheduled as upper bay technician, I'd be doing what you're doing right now. But I'm not. What more do you want from me?" He's like, "But you're certified." I'm like, "I'm still not scheduled for it, so I'm not gonna work it." Like, and my manager's actually like really chill, and he sees it the way I do, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, like, I don't blame you for not wanting to do extra. Like, I know you were doing extra all the time, but I could see why you've like declined on wanting to do all the extra cleaning and all the extra stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, because it's not worth it." Like, in Stockdale, I know the district manager's not going to stop by. I know he's not, because the store's kind of dead, and he doesn't want to sit there and like take credit for it being dead. So he blames the store manager that it's dead. Why is it dead? Why aren't you getting any more customers? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And like what the district manager does is like he'll tell an employee to go stand there on the street with a $20 off sign.
God.
And that's him doing extra. Other than going into the lanes and bugging the CSAs that aren't even under his control to get more cars. Why aren't you getting more cars for the oil change? Why aren't you? What's wrong? What's going on? Like what the fuck? Like that's not even your employee. What are you fucking doing? I told them, I was like, hey bro, if he comes in here because he's stolen some sales from people from like the car wash side to the oil change side, he's talked customers out from doing the extra there and getting his. Even after they've already like signed to do the extra in the car wash. And I'm telling the guys in the car wash side, like, hey bro, like don't let him like fucking push you around. Like if he comes up here and he's demanding more extra stuff from you guys, tell him, hey, why don't you talk to our boss about that? You're not my boss. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do what I need to do for myself, not for you. Because he's ruthless like that. He doesn't care.
Yeah. He's just trying to get his money.
Exactly.
He give a shit about you.
Yeah, and he cuts people off like their hours, or like he'll tell people to go home because it's his money. If when he's not getting eaten up by labor, he gets a bigger bonus. And he doesn't think that nobody knows that.
Yeah.
He thinks that like nobody understands that the concept of that. But you have the managers and the assistant managers telling everybody that that's what's going on because they are getting their fucking like they're getting there sitting there like, hey, why is this employee doing this and why is this employee doing that? When it was already a problem when there was no assistant manager, no manager, and it was all under him. Like, how are you gonna hire someone to fix a problem that you've let go on this whole time?
God, I wish they would have called me to do the fucking. Because they were looking for managers and they were looking for a district manager too, and I was like,
you would not like it, man.
If I was district manager, just walk in there and put my dick on the desk, like, what's up?
They're just ridiculous.
No, man, I even asked too because there's still no general manager where we're at in the valley. And
no, they filled that position.
No, like
for the
for me,
yeah,
not for your car wash. And so I asked the current GM. I'm not going to say his name because I'm going to try to be semi-professional or courteous. And I asked, and I was like, well, what about me? He goes, well, you haven't managed a store before. I was like, I've done everything, but I've done every other position this place has to offer that's within my scope of ability.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the business side, whether it's the operations side, whether it's the training side.
Yeah.
Everything I could have done. Why do I have to be a store manager? And he goes, well, you have to be able to. He goes, they want you to know that you can run a team before you can run a market. And I'm like, well, the thing is that I run a portion of this market already. My operations thing is like inventory wise, merchandising wise. The only thing that I don't work on in the valley is sales. That's it.
Yeah. But
I have this relationship with all these people in the valley. They would buy in instantly. Even yesterday when I was on the route, I asked one of the guys, I was like, how would you feel if I was like GM? They'd be like, dude, we'd all be behind it. We like you. We enjoy you. You have the report, but that's not what they want.
That's not what they want. They don't care about that.
They don't care about that. I would already have the team behind me.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
That's the hardest part is getting the team to buy in. If you get the team bought in just by telling them. Look
at the store here. The stores here. Just Panama. Nobody liked the manager. The team wasn't bought in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the performance dropped so low. But yet they go, no, it's just the employees. It's just the employees. They're not good salesmen. Oh, what? Because we're not lying? Because we're not cheating customers out of money?
Well, and now that's all falling down. But I'll talk to you about that off stream because it's a fucking.
But it's stupid.
Grade A cheese made. But yeah, no, it's. I hate the fact that it's like, oh, well, you have to run a store. It's like I've done damn near pretty much done that.
Yeah.
In my eyes, you want the employees to believe in the person above them.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you don't have a good leader.
Yeah.
You have a dictator.
Yeah.
which will tell people what to do and how to do it, but you don't have a leader who's going to push the people to be better, but then also show them like this is how you be better.
Yeah.
Not just sit there and do, hey, do X, Y, and Z. Hey, let's go do X, Y, Z together. Let me show you how to do this. Like,
And that's why Tyler Mason was so good, because he not only he could pull away from the relationship wise and be like, listen, I'm your boss and this is how you need to do it, but he'll show you. He'll be out there on the sales floor showing you.
Trenches, yeah.
He doesn't.
You have to be in the trenches regardless. And it's
Yeah.
like you have to be in the current trenches, not these owners who were there in your position 20 years ago. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, I was changing oil since before you were born. Cool. Well, it's different now. Have you adapted? No, you still have the same core values of 20 years ago when the world was different, the economy was different, all this other shit was fucking different.
Yeah. One of the funniest things is like Valvoline has sent over like offers to buy the stores.
Oh yeah, because the guaranteed Valvoline's doing it, right?
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
Like these places that are just continuously fucking growing and usurping all the ones under them. Why? What was it? Dr. Pepper.
Oh yeah.
Just bought up Ghost.
Yeah.
Because Ghost built to this level, and Dr. Pepper says, "Shit, we can buy you for your company's valued at $500 million. We're going to buy you for $1.5 billion, and we're just going to suck in your company. It's still going to be the same shit, but it's going to be our name attached to it."
Yeah.
Same thing. Valvoline could go buy your shop. It could still probably be the same name, but it's just
By Valvoline.
by Valvoline. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be fucking hilarious.
It's one of those things, like even with ours, picking up different phone stores, taking over locations that are failing and flipping it. It's the now under new management, now under new ownership. And so many of those have like turned around, like, oh, this place used to suck, and now it's like, it's great. Because that's all it takes, man. People underestimate what one tiny change could just create this fat fucking ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it's in everything. It's in business, it's in life. Like, if it weren't for COVID, I probably would have never got a degree.
Yeah.
Like fucking ever.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for losing my job back in Santa Cruz, I probably would have never started creating content or moved here, or if the wife, if she would have never got into that like crash, she would have ended up doing a semester abroad. I probably would have never met her.
Yeah.
Like, it's just these tiny little like butterfly effect shit. Or what, the invisible string theory or some shit. It's just one tiny thing that can happen and just change the course of fucking everything.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. If I would have never got my sale taken,
you probably still would have been there.
Maybe.
If COVID would have never been on that helicopter, if he would have drove to his daughter's game. Like,
damn. That one's sad.
I would just say, it's all stuff that is just crazy to think about in the world. Like, one tiny little thing could just change fucking everything.
If Diddy never bought that oil.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
No, but I mean, look, there's an aspect of like being able to handle like whatever gets thrown on you, you gotta have to like handle it yourself. And then there's also like know your worth. Like,
yeah.
It may sound like super negative and super like, oh, woe was me type shit, but like when me and my boss last like kind of hashed out what was going on, I could have went way worse. I could have been a lot more angry. I could have been a lot more not respectful, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. But I withheld myself to a point of like, okay, let's just focus on these aspects of what's going on and how I feel negatively about me being treated. And I mean, he told me that he liked me. He told me that he wanted me. He liked working with me, and that he's not trying to be an asshole. He's like, if you feel like I'm overstepping, just pull me aside and talk to me and let me know. And like, I appreciated that aspect. Yeah. But the other aspect of the hash was like, he's not taking responsibility for the actions of certain things that he wants to push onto other people. Like, I took out a baby and the mother from a car because the baby was crying. It was like 8 minutes into an oil change on another car. She was the third car in line, and I told her, I was like, get out of the bay with your baby, go into office. Your baby's obviously crying because it's really hot.
As fuck, yeah.
It's like 105, like 110 in here. Like, it's okay. He gets mad at me, and I told him, look, if this was your kid, what would you have done? And he didn't answer that aspect. He just skipped past it. And I said, I know what I would have done if it was my kid. I would have took the kid out. So tell me how you would have done it different. Oh, I would have told him to go to another store. Oh yeah, is that right? No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't. And it was funny because that day he had let a lady get out because she said that she like, oh, we'll just go to a different place. And I'm like, even your own family members get out of the vehicle. Oh, no, am I there when they get out? I'm like, it doesn't matter. If I call my dad and my aunt and my uncle, my, whoever, it doesn't matter. If I told them, hey, if you're going to come to the oil change to get an oil change, if you're going to come to my job to get an oil change, you're not getting out of the car. That's the rule. I'm sorry. I wish it could be different, but you just can't. Oh, I've told him, okay, that doesn't matter. You're not taking responsibility. If the shoe was on the other foot, you would have been telling me, take responsibility for them.
I still find that so weird that they just don't get out. Like, that's defeating the whole purpose of everything. Like, I understand being like, hey, look, you can, we recommend you parking it for the customer. Getting the key, like, that's what every shop will do. They'll get the keys. They'll put it in a little, whatever it is, a little clear bag with the work order.
Yeah.
They'll hang it on the side view mirror and say, hi, this is your next car, or this, that. Or if the customer insists, hey, I want to do it, like, I want to pull into the bay myself. Okay, let me guide you. And then when they get out, you have those fucking anti-slip mats that have the fucking holes all over them. So if there is liquid, it falls through and doesn't create a hazard.
You would think, right? You would think.
Common sense doesn't make sense to some people.
Not only that, but like, it's common sense and the truth. The truth just hurts people too much to the point where like they get upset about it.
What bothers me the most about a lot of business, and I'm not just talking like where you work, where I work, where even where my wife works, where your girlfriend works, where like everybody, the world has become such a like worrying about yourself shit nowadays. It's always about, oh, we want to maximize profits and minimize costs. It's like, what the fuck happened to providing like what people want and just not trying to money grab every single, like, cut corner or like bleed more out of people? And it's like, I sit there, and sales is the fucking worst for this. And I'm not saying like
it's bad,
disagree with it, but it's just like, if you have to sit there and jump down your workers' throats to be like, you should be doing this, you should be doing this, you should be pushing this, why didn't you do this, why didn't you get more money out of it? You can read people very, very easily just by paying the slightest bit of attention. I know if somebody's coming in, they've got, one track mind, they're just there to pay their bill with cash. I'm not going to sit there and try to sell you everything under the sun. I will take a look, I maybe mention it, see if they're cool with it. Nope, they don't want it. Cool. You're just here to pay your bill. I got you. Boop, boop, boop. Goodbye. You're gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I get chastised because I didn't sit there and I missed the opportunity to make money off this person. I said, well, motherfucker had $120 in his hand. His bill was $115. Is it payday for him? I don't know. Am I going to ask him? Probably the fuck not. But if he's coming in just to pay a bill, that's probably all he wants to do. Because if I go in to a goddamn restaurant and I order a cheeseburger, and the waiter says, oh, well, we got this steak, and we got this chicken, and we got this fucking, like, I don't care. I came here for a goddamn cheeseburger. Don't try to sell me a salad or chicken if I came in here for a cheeseburger. Don't try to do me this. You can recommend stuff to me, but don't sit there and be like, oh, we got this, this, and this. Take this, too. If you go somewhere and you want a service, if I go somewhere, if I go to your job, say I just want my inside washed, or I want my inside vacuumed, I want the outside of the car washed. That's it. You could maybe recommend, hey, we'll put some shit on your tires. We might do this, like, we offer a, water repellent windshield coating. Let me think about it. You're not going to sit there and want to pitch me like, oh, we should rotate your tires and we should fucking, change your brakes while you're here. It's like, I'm coming in for one thing, and I know what I want.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are customers that do not know what they want. There are people that do not know what they want, but those people will be like, what do you recommend? They'll ask the worker.
Yeah.
Don't shove shit down my throat that I didn't come in here for.
Yeah, and it's okay. So, for an example, a fuel injection cleaner at my job runs $100. You know how simplistic it is? You have two additives. One goes into the gas tank. The other one, you take out the intake hose, which sure, it needs some knowledge. Not every engine's the same, so you need some knowledge in order to do it. And you just take off the hose. You get like essentially an IV drip, and you plug it into the intake, and then you just push on the gas until all of the liquid's gone. Do you really think that it deserves to be $99? Let's say the what you're buying, the actual additives, let's say maybe it's $50, but it's a store, right? So a store is ordering 15 to 20 at a time,
right?
And they have a partnership, probably, or if they're buying in bulk, they get a deal on it, right? So let's just call it $40 for the actual additives. We'll just be nice and just say it's $10 off because they're buying in bulk. Does it? And I make $5 off of that sale. So $45 is what the company's paying for right there. Do you really think that the company needs the extra, like, what, $55?
No, markup on shit is disgusting nowadays for no good goddamn reason.
The company owns the actual, like, the machine to suck out the radiator fluid. It costs $120. Coolant for 1 quart is $7. So if a car needs 8 quarts, 8 times 7, what is that? Like
56.
Yeah, $56. So the other $64, oh sorry, $5 for me because I sold that service. So the other $59 is for what? You already own the machine. You're not paying that. Those machines are old. They're not making payments on those machines. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So what is it like?
Some people are, like I said, it's become money grubbing now. Like there's something, because we're able to look at like the cost stuff. Because when we want to buy it, we can get a code and we can buy it at cost, which is great. Which is what the company pays for it to get it into the store. So take into account, like you said, they order in bulk. Obviously, say we have something we sell for $50, right? The cost of this thing, at cost, what we buy it from that company for is $18.
Yep.
Say it takes $10 to fucking ship it, whatever. We have to pay shipping. Sure.
Well, you're shipping in bulk too as well. So
right.
You're not paying $10 for each item.
But why? Tell me why there has to be a $32 margin when you can't just double up what you pay for it. It costs $18 to buy, double up for $36. You can now buy 2 in the place of that one you just sold. Not only is the consumer more happy because they're not paying $50 for something that they can go
on Amazon
find for $25 because
or
the company,
10.
Yeah, or 10. Even so, or they can go find go direct and they buy it for $20 because that's the consumer price, not the commercial price.
Yeah.
Like, allow me to price match, which is why I always dug like getting shit at Best Buy. But even Best Buy's fucked that up. I used to go and price match all the fucking time. Hey, check this out. B&H Video has the same exact component for $200 less. Oh, hey, look, I found it here for this. And they go, oh, well, it used to be we'll price match anybody as long as it's a legitimate full-scale retailer and not some third-party eBay listing. Like, cool. But now it's like, oh, we only accept it from these handful of retailers. It's like, yeah, because and people wonder why physical stores are going down, because you are charging way too fucking much for something that I can wait 2 days to get it straight to my house. I don't have to put on pants. I can just step out my front door, grab it, or go get it from the mailbox. I don't have to you know, have the, go waste money to drive there. I don't have to waste gas to drive there. I literally just sit there and I press order, done.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost the same as like people are complaining about the tariffs. You know, whatever political side you are, I don't really care. I'm not saying I'm on one side or the other, but the reality of things are this: if we were to make something in America and ship it out to sell to somewhere else, the tariffs are disgusting. That's why in America we don't make shit anymore, because everywhere else is tariffing the fuck out of what we have to offer. But now someone's the bad guy because he's finally went like, hey, like enough's enough. We have to start doing what other companies are doing to us.
Herein lies the problem with that, and this is where we and you are going to butt heads a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I understand it. Like, I understand, like, yes, making domestic shit is great for the economy. It creates jobs. It stimulates the local economy, which is why everyone's always like, hey, instead of going to fucking this place, let's go to this mom and pop shop. Does the same thing. May cost a little bit more, but we're stimulating the local economy. But you also have to understand that there are certain things that we don't have the capability to get. The reason why we import a lot of electronics is because we don't fucking have cobalt mines.
That's true.
The U.S. does not fucking have cobalt. We have limited lithium. We have, the reason why we get oil piped in from other countries is because we don't have
those
that.
specific things are fine. Those specific things I can agree with you on. I'm not going to argue against those things. But like, okay, sweatshops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nike does the best. And then we're talking about margins here. We're talking about upselling. To go to Dick's and buy a sweatpants and sweatshirt, how much do you think that's going to run you?
It's $100 easy.
How much?
Depending on like.
How much do you think that they when they make that product, how much it really is?
Fucking pennies on the fucking dollar.
So what's and this is before tariffs. What's making that jump from your sweatshop and how much it costs?
That's selling in a better economy.
To come over here.
Selling in a higher economy, period.
But even if you were at a third world in Mexico, you're paying the same price. It's just a higher volume of money because money isn't the same. A peso doesn't accumulate to $1.
No, but it's also like.
But they still price it at that same price as American.
But also, you're sitting there thinking, I'm gonna go. If I need, say, it's because the same reason why you pay somebody to do something. Same reason you pay a plumber more to fix your toilet than you would a general handyman.
Well, that's more of a.
But if another country specializes in something, you're going to pay that, and we can't duplicate it or we can't do it as well.
So if the price of it is $100 for a sweatpants and sweatshirt, because you can make it that price because there's nobody else in the market that sells your product the way you sell it.
Supply and demand, sure.
Why, if you make the job, like I can see it that like if they were making it here in America, that'd be the price, and I wouldn't have any argument or be upset about it.
Then,
and if it was lesser because it was made in a workshop at another country, I still wouldn't be upset about that. And if I were to try to buy from that country, I would have to pay the taxes and I pay the fee of it, and it would probably accumulate to the same amount of me purchasing.
But that's when you have the trade agreements. That's when trade agreements come into say, take Mexico. We get a shit ton of our avocados imported from Mexico. Why? Because they do it well and they do it in mass quantity.
Yeah.
We tell Mexico, even though it's technically still North America, but again, it's North American free trade agreement.
Yeah.
We tell Mexico, we say, hey, look, we want to buy your avocados. When you sell them to somebody, you sell them at whatever, 50 cents per avocado, or whatever scalability. We want to buy them for less than that. But here's what we'll do, because we know you need fertilizer. You buy our fertilizer at this, which is lower than what we charge people. We buy your avocados at that, and we're good. And so there's the trade-off when it comes to the trade agreement. we buy your avocados, you buy fertilizer from us, we give you a cheaper price for what we're giving you, you give us a cheaper price, everyone's happy.
And see, that's totally fine. I'm not in argument with that.
My problem in lies with a lot of it is A, resource availability.
Yeah.
And then B, there are just people not willing to do that fucking job. You're telling me that somebody who is I'm getting kind of you're telling me a white person who can speak English perfectly fine is not gonna want to go work out in the fields.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Because
Absolutely not.
same thing.
But you also have let's say if you're selling a house and as a real estate agent, and you're like, okay, you're not going to get, let's say the house is worth $150,000 because it's not well maintained.
Sure.
And you go, okay, we can put $40,000 into this house,
Mm-hmm.
and estimated price can be at $300,000 after the renovations and whatnot. We have unpaid work or undocumented workers that are going to do it for you. And then they go, no, let's get real workers with actual credentials and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, now it's going to cost probably double to triple the amount. Are you still willing to do it? You're not going to see more bang for your buck.
No, exactly, because you're going to get the same production for lesser price.
Yeah. But
if I'm going to get, say, an Android phone,
yeah,
because I'm going to get, if I'm willing to make that trek to South Korea, I can buy a Samsung phone for probably a third of the cost I can buy it here. But it also comes down to convenience.
Yeah.
But with tariffs, and this is where I think shit gets all muddied up and confused with everybody, is whereas it makes sense to manufacture stuff domestically, 1,000,000 fucking %. Keep it in house, keep it local, keep it, whatever.
Yeah.
One is resources. Sometimes we just don't have resources to fucking do that.
Well, that's why we make trade agreements, right?
Right, but also and then it comes down to like specialization, all this stuff. But if we start raising tariffs, it doesn't help us, because even if say if we can't manufacture iPhones in the US.
So let me counter that really quick. If we're a buyer market, which we are, we're 100% a buyer
Consumerism,
market.
yeah. Sure.
We consume more than what we actually make here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And let's say a company like Nike, for an example, right? If they were to try to sell their clothes, which I'm not too sure exactly what their clothes cost in other European countries or anywhere else in the world. I know in Canada, it's almost the same price as here. It's a little bit more, but that's just Canadian, like how they handle things. If they, let's say hypothetically, they're trying to sell their clothes for the same price as America and Italy.
Not answering that.
Do you think that they're going to get away with the cost? Do you think that they're going to be able to go there and to the market and sell that same amount as that they would in America?
Dude, holy crap. What the fuck, man?
Or like, let's say a bigger country like Russia. Are you on the phone?
No, I'm having AI answer it, because that's that's why I love AI.
So let's say Russia, because Italy's obviously not going to be the best as far as population and all that stuff. Let's just say Russia.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accumulate the aspect of this business is going to lose a lot of its profit from America, and they're not going to be able to recover that same from anywhere else, because we consume so much here.
Right.
So the idea is, okay, so like Disney decided, hey, we're going to stop going with the political agenda of the masses and start like trying to tailor back to what our fans really want. They saw a huge drop off of Snow White. They go, okay, we wasted a lot of money. Let's start backtracking They stopped Rapunzel in the making. They went back and looked at the actor and made sure that the actor was good as far as what they're trying to do because of how bad Snow White was. So you got a business that put in billions of dollars for a movie that got nothing back in return, and they go, we've been losing money for a little bit too long now. Let's start backtracking on how we start producing movies again. What do you think the company like Nike is going to do when they see the huge drop off of not being able to buy and sell or sell here in America the way they used to? And how are they going to make up for the profits anywhere else? Well, one, they might just up prices everybody else, where nobody's going to like that because it's a company, right? It wants to make revenue every year. It wants to see green. So how do they backtrack and try to recuperate the losses of what's going to happen here? One, they could start trying to build an infrastructure here and start making jobs, start producing here in America instead of outside. Maybe they will see money, or they may just lower the prices of all their stuff. Who knows? Who really knows? That's the aspect of what I'm trying to see. That's what I'm like. I'm not saying that the tariffs are the best thing in the world. They're gonna hurt us. They really are. But at the same time, we need to be more prideful in what we do here as a country. Not, like I said, no political, no left or right. It doesn't matter about that stuff. It's just about what's right for us and being able to stop being taken over by these companies that are just money grubbing. That's my aspect of it.
Dude, holy fuck. No, leave me the fuck alone. Good God.
Hey, he's off, man. You just leave him alone.
I gotta deal with this. It's like my day off, man. I'm not even up. Nothing. I can just read.
What happened?
Well, because my AI assistant goes, "Hi, I'm using voice assistant." They go, "Hey, how you doing?"
Hey, how you doing?
Hold on. This is why this. See, I'll get behind this because like I can literally type it out. Wherever you're at, it's Tuesday. I can text it out and the AI will read it because obviously I make the trek to the valley through the whole valley. He goes, I need a phone. I go, from where? He goes, wherever you're at. I go, it's Tuesday. Like I do my shit on Monday. He goes, and all I see is, oh fuck, it is. He hangs up.
You gotta love it.
All right, but so anyways.
I don't know. I think it helps. I think it helps us in the aspect of certain businesses.
The problem in lies is when if we start producing stuff domestically, it'll stimulate the job market, which will then in turn pump more money into it because then more people will have money. But also in that same respect, supply and demand will take over and stuff will start cost. If stuff costs more to make, they're going to sell it for more. Because if Nike can make a sweatsuit in Malaysia for $2 and flip it for $100 in the US, but it takes them $22 to make it in America, they're going to tack on that extra money that it takes because not only now it costs them $22, they got to pay workers more. They got to pay more for material because polyester isn't so readily available in.
But since they already have the they already have the connections in these other countries.
But then you have to get that imported. Yeah. So even if it's Nike to Nike.
But do you think the government here in America is going to go, okay, since you have a contract there in Malaysia where you can get all this product, polyester and all these other things to make your clothes, and you're putting jobs in our market now, you think they're still going to like tax them hella? I think that they'll give. I don't think so.
Because that polyester coming in is not polyester for Nike, polyester from Malaysia. Cool, we tax Malaysia on this tariff.
But there's another aspect of it that you're missing is that it's a business now in America. It's a business.
Right, but that polyester doesn't come from Nike.
How do you think that Amazon runs it though? Because Amazon has is pulling in items from everywhere. Mm-hmm. They're pulling in items from everywhere. I'm pretty sure they have trade agreements and contracts with America.
let me stimulate you a little bit. So if you want to buy a car, or fuck it, you want to buy. You know what? Let's go Pokemon since you know Pokemon so well.
Yeah.
Pokemon Soul Silver, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to buy it, right? But Soul Silver is going to cost, $20 to make, and they said we're going to charge you 40 to buy this from us. But there's then somebody, your next door neighbor says, hey man, well I got it for 50. What are you going to do? Are you going to buy it cheaper? Or are you going to buy it more expensive just because your neighbor has it and you know the guy, so if something goes wrong?
Depends.
Exactly.
It just depends.
But also, we look at such a small scale of things.
That's true.
But again, that main difference that I'm trying to like hint at is if we don't have that availability of that product. I keep using Cobalt because again we just don't.
Yeah, we don't
doesn't
have
have
that,
Cobalt mines,
yeah.
period, and that's why we'll always have to get electronics and Cobalt from overseas.
Yeah.
Even if Nike, because is a big company and they get their polyester is manufactured, made, farmed, whatever, all in one country, and that's where their plant is. Their plant is there, but they're buying it from that company there. We don't have the capability to make, manufacture, and distribute polyester within America.
Mm-hmm.
So even though they say, hey, you know what? You're our distributor. You give us polyester for our Malaysian plant. We are going to start doing it in America to avoid this. Well, they still have to import the material. And they're not going to say, hey, this is specifically for Nike. This is, even if they own the processing plant, they still have to import it and pay taxes on the import, pay the tariffs to get it imported.
Yeah.
Because it's where they're getting it from, not who they're getting it from. The same thing is if, it's like if you were to grow your own avocados in the backyard, it's going to cost you a lot less. You're going to do a lot more work, but it's going to cost you $5 for the plant. It's going to yield 6 avocados. Whereas you're going to go to the store and you're going to pay, more, but you don't have to put in the work.
I don't know, man. I've found out as I grow older, it's better to put in the work than it is to.
Yep, but never underestimate the laziness of everybody else.
No, of course, you're not wrong about that. I get that aspect too. Like the other day I bought lemons for $2. No, $1 for 2. I could have went to Alex's house and got free lemons. If I really wanted to pay him, he probably would have been a lot less. And that's like the one thing. Like that's why I want my own.
But it's
farm.
It's also that too. You could go to the store and go buy those lemons 2 for $1, or you can go pay Alex to get more.
Yeah.
But it's the convenience, it's the import, it's the cost versus price type deal.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because if we're going to sit there and say
it's also a systematic thing too. It's like we back in the day, like if you look back at like videos of the 50s and people like talking, like getting interviewed and talking about like what they took for like cough medication. A lot of them are going to be like, oh, well, I had some nice rosemary tea with a hit of whiskey, and nowadays it's like, yeah, I'm going to go buy $12 cough medication and I'll be fine.
But also that's the improvement of modern medicine.
Improvement, or would you just say like the
well, no, I mean, there's also a disgusting fucking money grubbing aspect of it, of any medication.
Because like if you think about it, like okay, right? And this is like a big thing that a lot of people don't understand is that you can go into a facility and pay for something to be made, like. Joe Rogan was making his medication, or not medication, but a vitamin called Alpha Brain. And he was finding that the place that he was taking it to was leaking like other substances that they use the machine for to make certain things. So it wasn't passing FDA ruling, but it wasn't his issue. It was the company that he was going through that was making it for him. Because they were using the same machine to make something else, and it got crossed into his. So he was finding out that like even though he was paying for a service to be done for him to be able to make a substance, it was being contaminated by other things.
Right.
So I mean, regardless of like how much advancement has been made, it's still very much flawed. The crops that we eat nowadays are poisoned by so many different aspects of medicine to destroy weeds and get rid of bugs and all this other stuff. Yeah, sure, it's amazing that we can get all this yield of crops, and it costs like however much that it's so convenient. But is the convenience gonna outweigh the actual cost of what's really happening to you? I don't think so. And that's what people need to understand. They need to understand what they're getting into. They need to understand what they're buying.
Mhm.
And most people just don't care. They just see the money in, the money out, and how easy it is for you to get.
Yeah.
It's how we've been led to these big cities. They don't like, you can't buy like an acre of land, or let's say 5 acres of land, and build multiple houses on it, right? That's the thing. You can't build multiple houses on it. Let's say if you and like 10 friends decide, hey, let's buy this land, let's go in on it, and we're gonna each build a house. There's only a set amount of properties that can be listed under a portion of land that's purchased by people or a person.
Regulations, obviously.
Regulations for certain things, but like if you're out in the middle of nowhere, let's say you're out in the middle of Oklahoma and you buy 10 acres of land, and you can't put 5 properties on it. Let's say they're spread out completely, like within, like let's say 5 houses for 10 acres. So that's 2 acres per one house.
Mhm.
But it's illegal to do it. What regulates what's the reason as to why that can be? It's because they want to stop people from being able to spread out and not be inside the cities. In my aspect, that's how I see it. Because if there's no actual, like, is it because of the gas? Is it because of the electric lines? Is it because of the plumbing? Is it because of certain things? It's actually not any of those things. It's just that there's a law against building multiple like buildings that are, and they consider properties, not like an RV, like a mobile home or something like that.
Mhm.
That doesn't consist of that. It's actual structure into the ground. And even though it's spread out far or wide, it doesn't make a difference. It's still because it's under either one owner, or let's say a business or something like that. I don't think it's business. I think it's actual.
I was about to say, because then what's stopping these big old companies from just buying plots of land and pop 30 houses on them, and that's fine.
Yeah. But I think it's more of just like a person buying and then building these structures themselves. Even if they get zoning permits and they
Mhm.
pass all the paperwork it is to actually have the infrastructure put into place, it's still against the law. It's crazy, right? Like why would that matter?
I don't know. I think the problem like is just there's too much. There's too much control, and then there's too much of like pushback. But also it gets into this weird area where it's like, are you doing this to improve something? Or are you doing this just to be malicious? Because people will always fuck something up.
Sure.
Fuck up something good.
Yeah, sure.
100%.
Sure.
I mean, you've seen it when we work together in certain aspects in the way we sell, and we were doing things a certain way, and then somebody exploited it and did it a slightly different way, and now we can't do it our way because somebody exploited it and did it a legit wrong way, and got attention put on us, or
I gotta pee again.
oh, fucking, he's gonna keep his mic on again too, aren't you?
Another episode of pissing.
Another
with
episode
Dickie.
of Richard pissing.
Is he gonna touch himself or what? Oh, I have a dream.
Disgusting.
I have a dream that I'm gonna get all this piss in the bowl.
Like,
oh, do I feel a fart coming?
YouTube's gonna be happy about this one.
Nope. Oh yeah.
That's a loud ass piss.
Oh,
I
you guys
hear
got
it.
a fart.
Like he's across
Be
the
happy.
fucking hallway.
Be satisfied with
God
what you
damn.
get. Whatever Daddy wants.
I'm just glad AI doesn't think, oh yeah, Richard P. was a
Whatever
great
Daddy
clip to put on
wants.
TikTok.
Daddy
He just clipped my fucking nails. This is ADHD incarnate right here. Sitting here fidgeting my
Nothing
hands
like
off.
a long, nice piss. Whew. remember that girl that was going around licking toilets?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was up with that? That's. I'm not for online bullying, you know.
Washed his
I'm not
hands this
for
time. I don't know if he did last time.
making people feel weird.
Yep. You
What
hear him
they
washing his
like,
hands.
but what the fuck is that shit, man?
Fuck, I don't think we got towels in there actually to fucking dry off.
Comment below if you like licking toilets.
Wonder how the acoustics
I will
are
tell
in
you, you're disgusting. And that's another episode of Pissing with Dickie.
there.
I was talking about how there was that girl that was going around licking toilets
Ew.
and going like, "Listen, I'm not for online bullying, but what the fuck was that? What went wrong there?"
Oh my god, I have landed myself on fucking the cringy video side of Instagram Reels. Oh my god, like
I've been seeing this guy go. I don't know what nationality he is, but he's definitely like below Mexico, I think. He's like El Salvadorian or something. He can't really tell. He's not Guatemalan because he's not short. I can say that I'm Mexican. It's okay. But he puts in this fucking like massive amount of fucking chew, stuffs it in his lip, and he's like, oh. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like his grito or something like that. You know, like when they yell during singing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I don't know why I'm fascinated by it. It's disgusting,
no.
but like,
I've gotten to the ones that's not bad considering some of the shit that I've seen. It's like because the internet's gotten people to a point where they're just way too comfortable posting anything. And it's like we've all had that time in our lives where like we did something and like 5 or 10 years later you're like, God, that was so bad. Like, why the fuck did I do that? Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
that was embarrassing. But at the time you thought you were just the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
But it's like I'm looking at some of these people now, and it's old, like older people like our age doing just the most like childish type shit ever.
Yeah, there's that YouTuber who's like his whole personality is being a Discord moderator, and he's like that bald, white, pale guy that looks like he has like third-rate leukemia. And he's always wearing the Minecraft sweatshirt. I think his name starts with a J or something like that online. And he's like, "Hello, Discord kitten," and I'm just like, dude, like I know you're doing this for personality,
but it's like, bruh,
stop, man. Like, I don't understand why people watch it. Like,
because some people, it's like a car crash. You can't look away, and it's like I sit and look at it because, like, God, it makes me feel so much better about myself watching these people who are like, you know, in their 20s and 30s acting like they're fucking teenagers. Because that's how you get attention apparently, because social media is heavily populated by the younger generation.
Yeah, you have kids watching fucking like families that like do these stupid little games to like eat food or whatever, and it's like
you have people who will watch other people eat food.
Yeah. Like,
or they'll sit for an hour and a half and listen to two idiots talk to each other.
But like, okay, there's a difference between entertainment of like substance, and then there's just like the like
pure fuckery of what the
like I'd watch the Hodge twins rate and eat food. I would, because there is substance there. There's like comedic things that they do, and the way they interact with each other is just like on point. But then you get like I said, those two guys that react to like how things go in Japanese, and one dude, I'm like, what?
No, I've seen like the ones that kill me the most. Like, I like the ones that are actually like
Stacky Boos,
like real. Like you can tell it's like two guys that just like are doing it for the same fact that we're doing it, just talking, and it's like, all right, let's see if we can't just entertain somebody for whatever an hour and a half. But then there's certain dynamics that fucking be like, yeah, you're not this dumb. It's like you have the really smart guy who knows everything and the really dumb guy who thinks he knows everything, and they just bicker. He's like, no, you're wrong. Well, no. He's like, well, the sky's blue. No, it's not. It's green.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
And then you get that donkey from Family Guy. No, like,
or just like the people who are like the conspiracy theorist fucking guy who's like, dude, can you believe like the reason why there's 4 tires on a car? And they make it seem like it's this big old fucking deal, and he's got this intense thing, and his buddy's just sitting there, and he's like, no way, bro. I never thought of it like that.
The reaction to it. Yeah, look, if I argue anything, I'm open to being wrong. I would love for someone to sit there and actually give me a real answer. And I'm not like there are things like that I feel are conspiracies to a lot of people, but I feel like they're correct. And if someone were to come in and like debunk it, I'm not gonna sit here and just fucking get mad at you, even though that's what people want. They want people to just get mad. They want people to react in a way, and they find entertainment out of it. And it's like, why? What is it about you that you like this like negativity so much? What is it about your life that is so boring that you have to find YouTube videos of like negativity, rage baiting that makes it so much better? Like,
What bugs me the most is like just the blatant lies that people will sit there and believe.
oh yeah, yeah,
And it's like, and then you look at the comment section like, oh my god, I can't believe so and so would do this. It's like there's literally no fucking proof. Or you spend 30 seconds googling and you're like, no, that's actually just a flat out lie that you're just putting out there for people to be misinformed about shit.
yeah. Like that guy who was getting mad at me for not being sure exactly what was going on between.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
It,
You're sitting there not trying to spread horse shit, and he's just like, this guy wasn't sure enough for me. It's like, dog, he's just trying not to be the.
I'm just not trying to spread bullshit, and you're getting mad that I'm not trying to spread bullshit. Do you want to hear bullshit? I can tell you bullshit. I can fucking go on forever. Like
the craziest thing that I will always like sit behind is I don't think that the Mandela effect is like real, like it's some government cover up to like switch things. I just think the Mandela effect is just shitty mass memory recollection, that we remember it a certain way because of either like how it was said or how it was done, or like, and everyone just kind of starts to like believe that's the normal.
Well, I mean, look at like what happened to Dave Chappelle. If you want to go Mandela effect, everybody thought he went crazy and went to Africa and did some crazy ass shit, but that was just the executives lying to us. And realistically, he was in a farm in Illinois,
Yeah,
that he owned, and he was going to these back alley comedy clubs doing fucking comedy
Yeah.
for fun, not even for money, for fun. And he comes back and makes a big splash because he's able to do it his way. And then everyone's like, yeah, that's crazy, let's forget about that now.
but they're sitting there saying too, it's like, okay, well, if you take whatever it is, it's the even when it's named after Nelson Mandela, it was like I could have swore he died in the 80s. Well, no, he fucking didn't. He was imprisoned and
We just
whatever.
all forgot about it.
Yeah, and you just forgot about it because again, you're gonna tell me, even if you're getting if we're getting closer, like when we were kids, like, oh, Sandy had a jetpack. I was like, I don't remember that. But then people swear she did. I was like, no, that's just collective shitty memory.
Yeah.
Or the Berenstain Bears instead of Berenstain or whatever. Again, it's just shitty recollection because what is that? That's a kid's book.
Yeah.
You most likely saw it when you were a kid or reading it to your child and disconnected because you don't care because it's not adult entertainment for you to consume. You're reading it to your child.
Yeah.
Your child listening to it or seeing that book, or even Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your father. No, he doesn't fucking say, Luke, I am your father. But that's what everyone says. It's, even Star Trek where he's like, beam me up, Scotty. He never fucking said, beam me up, Scotty. It's just shitty memory recollection of catchphrases and other things. It's the cornucopia on the fruit of the loom.
Yeah.
It's the goddamn,
Hey, look,
shitty mass memory recollection.
To be honest with you, when I first listened to one of Travis Scott's songs, 90210, 90212, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So no, but like in the first time it got released, in earlier in the song, he's saying he's not like rapping hard. It's just like a good little slow intro, and there are points where I swore there was a girl ad-libbing certain phrases.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I think he goes something along the lines of like, she was wetter than like Pyramid Lake or something like that. And then like there's the ad lib where she goes, I was wetter than a swish or some shit like that. I swore I heard that. And then when I went back after not listening to it a little bit, it wasn't there anymore.
Mhm.
And I'm like, whoa, I swore to God that there was an ad lib here, and it's not here anymore. But for whatever reason, like I couldn't make that up. Like I swear to God that was there,
Yeah.
but it's no longer there anymore. So I'm like, what the fuck happened? I looked it up. It was that there was like, I guess, like a lawsuit against it, and then he just took it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And it wasn't like widespread. Obviously, it didn't really matter to a lot of people, but I'm like, it was like giving me like I remembered it wrong, but I was like, no, I swore it was like that.
Yeah.
And I would ask people, and people were like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it could just be a culmination of like a bunch of stuff that you're remembering that's just bleeding in one memory.
That's true.
You can't remember stuff from decades ago, and if you do, it's fucking
don't get high.
Don't get high. But I in my mind believe that, I feel like when I was a kid there was a genie movie with Sinbad, but there's not.
There wasn't.
There wasn't. No.
I could have sworn maybe it wasn't an advertisement then.
No, it never happened. It never fucking happened. And like I said, like, it's just mass bad memory recall. Because again, it's in the 90s.
Was there ever a Shaq game?
30-some. There was. And Shaq Food. It's still fucking out there. And there was a sequel to it. And it's fantastic.
I'm just messing around.
But like, if you think about it, we're probably leading the two together. There were a lot of Sinbad movies in the 90s. There was. He was a very prominent 90s actor.
Yeah.
But then there was another actor, another black man who played a genie in a movie, but it was Shaq.
Oh.
So maybe we're just thinking of the two because we saw so many Sinbad movies.
Man, that means I'm racist, right?
But no, it's just trying to, remember it all. It's not some government conspiracy. It's
there's still psyops. I still believe 100% there's. I mean, look at who was that girl that got outed recently?
That motherfucker's not real chick.
No. There's an actual rapper. I can't remember her name. It's obviously it's a black rapper. She got recently found out that she's a psyop. She's not who she really was. She's not connected, affiliated with any gang that she says that she was. She got put into the system, got put into the rap game, like by getting features with big artists out of nowhere, and recently got outed by I don't know who, but yeah, she's a psyop. And that goes to show you like who else is a psyop. People were saying there's a lot of celebrities that are psyop. Like Kevin Hart's a psyop. He was never actually like
Kevin Hart's a gatekeeper. That's what he is. I listen to Cat Williams shit and I believe that motherfucker.
I believe him
every time.
Man. I believe him too.
I listened to that whole 2-hour conversation he had with Shannon Sharp, and that was like, I could see it.
Yeah.
There are those people that are in higher positions of power that run a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That have that ability to be like, you're gonna be famous, you won't.
Hey, look what they did with the Last of Us.
Oh God! Don't even get me fucking started.
Look. Hey, I know my place in this world as far as attractiveness. I'd say I'm like a 6.5 to a 7, and that's me just being realistic to myself. This might be fucked up to say, but we need to bring back someone like Burt Weinstein to like regulate.
Oh God, no.
How attractive a person needs to be inside of a series, because the ball dropped big time.
We're not bringing back Predators.
I said someone like him. I didn't say him. I did not say him. You look back at the video. I said someone like him. We need to gatekeep like certain people out of. I don't want to see someone like that in that role. I really don't. Put someone that looks just like her in the games. Why can't you just do that?
See, and that's the thing too, is like you're really trying to tell me that of the millions of cosplayers out there, you couldn't find somebody who would be good enough at acting to pull that role off. Right. There's castings, and then there's like blatant, like this was a power play call. This was not a goddamn this couldn't have been the best person to audition.
You know
for
what
the
they
part.
did? You know what they did? They said it doesn't matter what she looks like. We have Pedro Pascal.
That is true.
That we have Pedro Pascal because everybody's just gonna.
I would let that man spit in my mouth.
I would too. I would too. I like that clip there or that meme that goes around where it's like it's Sydney Sweetie or whatever the fuck her name is,
Mhm.
and she's like, I don't even know why he's telling you that, but the caption's like when your girlfriend tells Pedro Pascal that you're straight. That's me. That's me.
There are like casting choices that were made there. That some of them were better than others. But yeah, no, I'm in full agreement. And no shade at the actress, but like the casting is not correct there.
It's
Whoever
not.
the casting director is just doesn't deserve their job.
I'm not saying that she shouldn't be in live TV or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. You know,
but she's not
she's
the one.
She's not that role. That's not her role. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Will Smith should have never done the genie in Aladdin in the live action.
Oh God, no!
You should have just left it someone else. Let someone. I'm not saying the race thing here because obviously Robin Williams was blue when he played the animated series. It's not a race thing either. It's just not him. Like I would have much rather seen Jim Carrey do it. Jim Carrey would have been a funnier genie, a more creative genie. He would have been like, he would have looked at that script and went like, well, instead of doing this basic ass shit, let's just do this because this is funnier. This is more wacky. This is more genie. This is more a trope to Robin Williams doing it. Where, like, you get your wife's name out of my mouth type of dude. Like, come on, man. Really?
But there's just shit, man. Like with actors and actresses, like there are certain people who are made for roles. That's a given. But then there are people who just transcend those roles into something else. Because there were, before, we'll take Heath Ledger's Joker. That is one of, hands down, the best Jokers that has ever been. Like, in terms of getting the character to that point where it's like sociopathic craziness that just makes sense. Like, this could have been a normal human at one point that had this dark past backstory, and now it's just fucking, sociopathic supervillain. But there were previous Jokers that were just as good. I mean, you have Mark Hamill playing the animated one. That was really good.
Voice acting and real acting are two different things, though. That's the thing. Like, Mark Hamill has the voice for the Joker in the animated series. There won't be another Batman animated series that will be exactly like that dude that played it, who's no longer with us. I can't remember his name, but he's dead now.
Heath Ledger.
No, I'm talking about the actual voice for animated Batman. That guy's dead.
Oh, I don't know. But like, I'm just saying there's,
like the voice acting aspect is one thing, but the actual acting of like Heath Ledger doing it is different. Like, I'm not going to...
But Jack Nicholson from like the 70s was good as well. That's the thing is you can have people that make the role and do well at it, but then people that make it better.
For that era, yes.
But also
for that era, yes. There would have been nobody else that like Jack Nicholson would have been able to go up against in that era that could have done Joker better. Yes. Just like there's nobody going to do Heath Ledger again. It's just in that era, it's different. It's like the same argument. There's not going to be another Michael Jordan. There's not going to be another LeBron James. There's not going to be another Kobe Bryant. They're just going to be a different person doing a different style that elevates the game in a way that transcends above all else, right?
There's not a greatest of all time. There's a greatest of that era.
So, like when people get mad and go, "Oh, Jared Leto never did like they should have never cast him as Joker," it's like, no, there's just nobody else that can do a Heath Ledger Joker, and that's all what we want. Unfortunately, that's not what we get. Everybody got there was some backlash against Tom Hardy doing Bane. And it's because people want to see the Bane from the animated series where he's actually has fucking like tubes coming out of his arms and he's actually injecting himself with this poison or this like whatchamacallit, a steroid that makes him super stronger. Where we get a Bane that has actual like physical strength to a certain degree because of how bad his life was.
See, but then you're starting to blur the line between the source material too.
Well,
because that was Bane. The Bane in the George Clooney Batmans was the truest Bane there was.
But there's different versions though.
He was a juiced up idiot.
Well,
But
he's a juiced up,
he was a brute. That's all it was.
and he was
brute.
Mexican too,
And then
or Spaniard, or
the
whatever.
one that Tom Hardy did was more of like a calculated criminal that just happened to be more muscular.
Well, I mean, like there's also different like versions of Bane, and there's different versions of the Joker. There's different versions of Batman. There's different versions of these characters, and I'm not saying from source. These are actual different character versions from different worlds or different universes of the Justice League. I'm not too sure exactly if there is an actual Bane that's like Tom Hardy's Bane, but I enjoyed that Bane because you thought that he was the front, and then you all along there was someone else that was running the whole thing.
Well, because really too, what it was is that Bane was basically like Poison Ivy's muscle.
Yeah,
that's all he was. Literally, he wasn't his own villain in his own sense. He was a side villain that was muscle for, even though Poison Ivy was.
Yeah. And then this version, it's Ra's al Ghul's daughter that's pulling the strings, but you just never see it. You get glimpses of here and there. I had recently rewatched it, and I just saw like certain points where she says certain things, and I'm like, oh, she knows, but Batman, what's his name's Batman doesn't realize it.
I don't know. I think it's people being more upset. The same reason. Like, I don't think Will Smith should have been the genie. People are like, I don't think Tom Hardy should have been that Bane when we had a different Bane.
The difference of the live action of Robin Williams to the live version of Will Smith was not because it's a different genie, that it's not the exact same genie. It's that I think that he didn't do a good job.
It's the way it's played. The way it's portrayed.
I don't dislike, or I will say that I don't think that Jared Leto's Joker was up to par with Heath Ledger. I will say that it's a different Joker in a different universe. Whereas a live action of a movie,
yeah, but that's different between Marvel and DC. Marvel is always about the multiverse, whereas DC is like, no, this is
DC has a multiverse. I think they started their multiverse before Marvel in the comics. That's why the whatchamacallit, like in this Zack Snyder's thing where they have the boxes. That's an actual thing in the series, but the boxes have different universes in them. The power to be able to pull it all together is to be able to go into these other universes.
I don't know. I think everyone has their
favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you have us who we grew up in the 90s, and we're like, we're gonna tell you adamantly that LeBron is not better than MJ.
Yeah.
But then you have people that grew up with LeBron that are like, oh well, MJ did this, that, or they'll say that. Older heads will say Wilt Chamberlain's better than Shaq. It's like, well, we grew up with Shaq, and
I think Shaq would take Wilt.
Or, when we had our certain, it's even going back to games.
You're right, but at the same time, like,
people have their own opinions on what their better thing is.
Yeah,
and that comes down to, like, if you want an example, you go to 007. I still think because I grew up with it, it's like when I think 007, the first person I think of is Pierce Brosnan. Why? Because that was A, my first introduction to it, B, one of my favorites, but then also some people will say Sean Connery or Daniel Craig or whatever, the new one, but it's like that's just who they prefer. It's their preference. It's who they think is a better one. Some people will say, oh, I like Jared Leto's Joker better. It's like, no, I like Heath Ledger's better.
I think that a lot, and to me, it has to do with
it's personal preference at one point.
Yeah, at a certain point, it is a personal preference. Like, I dislike any of the new like Teen Titans Go. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have the real Teen Titans animated series where it just feels more authentic. It feels more to the story, where the newer one is more towards the younger generation. And I guess that might be the thing that I guess I preference is that it's not the first one wasn't directed towards younger generation. It was a PG-13 animated series. Sure, you would say it's a kid show. You can go ahead and say that, but there was adult aspects to it, like Slade and a lot of the different like things that the characters go through. You see a lot of character development, And you can go ahead and say that like, oh, Teen Titans Go doesn't get that same one. Like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But at the truth value of it, it just seems a lot more childish than the predecessor, or not the predecessor, than the one before.
Well, and that could come down to like more regulations too.
That's true.
Because even if you go further back, the type of unhinged cartoons that were being shown in the 90s would never fucking fly nowadays.
That is true. I mean,
you know, we were in an era where we were able to watch like Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, and these were like cartoons. And then now you try, you know, that were, I mean, Ren and Stimpy was on fucking Nickelodeon.
I mean, look at what's happening to South Park. They got bought out by Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, now they have. Yep.
Now they're getting all their stuff. Like, it's, to me, it's sad.
A lot of those episodes are getting axed or putting in the vault because they can't be shown anymore.
To me, it's sad.
And it's gotten to a point where everyone's just so goddamn sensitive. It's like, we sit here, and if you don't agree with what I say or what I believe, then you're wrong. And it's like, we can't just agree to disagree.
Like, if you don't like it, then don't watch it.
Right?
Yeah. If you don't like it, then don't watch it.
But then there are people who are like, oh, it's so offensive. It's like, so the fuck what? There are people out there that are able to distinguish entertainment from, you know,
it's like,
or satire from fact or fiction or anything. And
it's like if everybody started agreeing with PETA about Pokemon. We shouldn't have Pokemon because you're digitally batting another against another, and that's violence.
Entertainment.
It's like, hey, buddy, like, let's not take.
You're reading into it too much at that point. It should never be that. Entertainment is exactly that. It's there to entertain. We're not going to sit here and have this conversation with each other, and person listening is going to agree with every fucking thing we say.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go tell that person they're wrong because they believe in something else that we.
I'm telling you, you're wrong.
Have an opposite view.
You are so fucking wrong. No.
You know, there are people that will even get mad that I prefer Diet Pepsi over Diet Coke, and they'll say I'm wrong for liking Diet Pepsi. Like, really? I have a preference.
Yeah.
That is my preference. That I feel like it's not affecting you. Yeah. It's not going to hurt you. Like,
yeah.
You're going to keep drinking. I'm going to keep drinking Diet Pepsi. We're going to keep pushing. But then they'll be upset because my viewpoint doesn't align with theirs.
And see, that's when you need to like log off and touch grass and realize it doesn't matter when someone likes something else other than you. Like, I remember like back when I was a kid in school, like you became friends with people because they liked and they disliked things the same as you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never like that. When you'd be classified as a jock compared to a nerd, I'm like, hey, I like Pokemon. I like playing video games.
Well, but
I like watching this and that.
Different now,
but I also like playing sports. So why is this kid like not cool and I'm cool?
Yeah, it's so different now too. Because if that, you know, back when, I mean, I know you're a little bit younger than me, but back during high school, it's like if you were watching anime and playing video games, even like junior high, like, God, you're such a weeb because you're watching anime. And now, like, anime is cool. Everybody's doing it. Lil Uzi Vert watches it and he's cool. You know, it's like, you used to be looked at like, wow, that motherfucker watches anime. What a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh, you play D&D? Yeah, D&D's fun as shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And now everyone's like, oh, yeah, this is fucking rad. You sit there. Oh, you play Warhammer 40K and paint these minifigures? God, you're such a loser.
But,
now it's like,
but Henry Cavill does it. And
oh, yeah. Well, okay. But to be fair, Henry Cavill's like,
Henry Cavill. Yeah, no, I get it.
He's a man's man.
He's a man.
But no, like, that's the shit, is everything can just be flipped on its head so goddamn quickly.
Well, it just takes one personality that everybody doesn't want to go against and just be like, yeah, we like that now. You know?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I just find it strange on how people are so fixated on, like, one, being right about their viewpoints to the point where they'll say that you're so wrong just because you feel like it's different. And you're not pushing against them.
Well, and that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
They don't like it because it's different. It's not what they think it is.
Yeah.
The wife loves Indian food. I can't. I just can't fucking do it. And she goes, it's got everything you like. You'd like it. I was like, no, I've tried it. I don't like it. Let's just move past it. You can keep liking Indian food. I'm not gonna eat it.
Yeah.
That's a personal preference.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna keep it pushing, and even in shit you do. Like,
yeah, like in lifting weights, I don't like deadlifting because I think it's very counterproductive to your overall health, to working out. I think that lifting big stone in that facet is not gonna get you your gains that you're wanting.
But then there are
But
people who
then-
like, I love doing this shit and I power lift for the sake of, this is what I like.
Yeah, and I'm like it's nice that you can lift that much in that way, but are you stronger than me? No, you're not. You're not, because you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't lift this much and you can't lift that much in a lot of different aspects. But because you can deadlift like certain amount and I choose not to, I don't know. People are just weird.
But then even still, you get people upset of the way you get dressed. But that you put your pants on first and then your socks. Oh my fucking god, that's so wrong. It's like, who cares? We all in the same place.
Yeah.
If I'm going to work and I go, east and then north, and I get there, but then you have to go, north and then east, we still get to the same fucking place.
Yeah.
You just took a different path than me.
Yeah.
It's still the same destination.
Yeah.
I still got my pants and socks on. I just did it a different way than you.
Yeah.
They're the exact fucking same.
People are weird.
People are fucking weird, man. And then people that will just like shit on even where you like what you wear, where you get clothes. I get a lot of my shit at Ross. Why? Because it's phenomenal.
It's cheap.
It's
That's
cheap.
where I got this at.
It's cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, I didn't know this was a fucking thing until the wife took me there. So we went to Revolving Sushi, which again, 10 out of 10.
I heard.
10 out of 10. Love that place, but you will run up a bill very quickly.
Oh yeah.
I think it was 22 plates that we did, and it was like 110. So I mean, it's expensive, and it probably changes based on the time of day.
Yeah.
It would make sense, but. And then we get done, and where it's at, there's the Nordstrom rack right there. I was like, "This Nordstrom, that's expensive as shit. What do you mean? Like, I'm not fucking going there. Like, that's
Is it not
rich
expensive?
people shit." Nordstrom rack is like the bougie Ross.
No way.
Dead ass. I went in there. I could have sworn if you would have blindfolded me and walked me in there and not told me where we were, I would have thought it was fucking Ross. Laid out just like Ross.
Thanks for telling me that.
Clothes all here, shoes on the walls. The only difference is like the cleanliness because they keep a lot. People aren't just throwing shit on the floor if they don't want it.
Yeah.
And then there are like higher
end
brands, but not like for super large pricing.
Okay.
But like we went in there and they were like their dress shoes, their dress pants, and she's like, "Oh, get a pair of pants." Dude, I got dress pants, like high-end $80 dress pants for like $20.
Yeah, I gotta go.
And she's like, well, what if they don't fit? Like, they're $20 dress pants. I don't give a shit how they fit as long as they're my size. Go for it.
Yeah.
Sitting there, they got Nikes there,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and they're like $60. I was like, dude, this is and they're $100 Nikes usually, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of nice, and they're good quality. They're just not. They didn't sell at some department store or whatever.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's bougie fucking Ross.
Yeah, I gotta go.
It's slightly more expensive, but dude, there's like dress shirts, paint, like it's higher end stuff. I mean,
Is it consistently still good?
oh yeah,
Okay, because like Ross, like if you don't get there on like one of the shipping days, it's like all picked out. Like
no, yeah, I even still like there was a good fucking smattering of shoes, like even ones that I recognize, like not just Nike, but like Hoka's, like those walking shoes.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of those, Adidas, Lacoste, like all these higher end brands. Like these are reasonable if I really want this, and I don't mind hunting a little bit more for like my size or whatever. Looking through, they had fucking suit jackets. I'm like, dude, it's not bad, Like holy shit, I wish I knew about this suitor.
Yeah, I would have went.
Because I always go to Ross and I have to hunt for hours upon hours just to find one like golden nugget somewhere.
Yeah.
I go into Nordstrom rack and I'm like, oh, this is
It's there.
exactly what I want.
It's easy. Yeah.
There it is, and then I found the same, and they have the same. Like I've been since I got older, I've started to be like, I fucking hate shoes with laces. I just want to slip in and slip out. They can have the little elastic bands,
Being
whatever,
geriatric on me, huh?
right? Well, and they're a pair of.
That's why you buy shoes that have laces. You don't have to retie them. You just slip in and out.
Oh no, I still have Osiris that just are permatied. That I slip in and out. But like, I have a pair of Skechers that I found at Ross like months ago that are like great. Those ones. that I found at Ross for like $30, right? And literally go to Nordstrom Rack, the same exact one. They're a little bit more expensive because they're,
But there's a lot more of them.
but there's a lot more of them, and I'm
Yeah.
like, these are the exact same in a different color.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I like.
Yeah.
No, it's you need to go. Like, if you're willing to
Get higher quality stuff.
you don't want like the Ross feel, or like even clearance hunting, dude. Their clearance racks were packed with shit, like extra 25% off. I was like, oh, this shit, like,
I gotta take. I know.
and
Isabel
it's not
loves
just
it.
like dress clothes, it's jeans, shirts,
Yeah.
fucking everything.
Yeah. I gotta take Isabel.
It is bougie Ross.
It is if you were willing to spend a little bit more.
There's a lot more like
Higher quality shit.
Okay.
fucking. I was impressed. I didn't buy shit. No, I bought the pants, and that's all I got. And I found some fucking Adidas for someone at work who I sent him as a joke because he's a Rams fan and they're Rams colors. And I was like, oh look, Nordstrom Rack has the second place in the NFC West shoes, and he goes, dude, I'll cash app you right now, buy them for me. How much are they? And they were like 60 some odd bucks.
That's funny.
And so now it's like, all right, well, send him as a joke, but no, there's a bunch of shit there, dude, and again, it's in the Riverwalk, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
semi bougie.
Semi bougie. Yeah, I've always seen it. I've never walked in there.
Neither have I. Until
Yeah.
the wife mentioned something, I was like, it's Nordstrom, because you think Nordstrom, that's gonna be expensive as fuck.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's.
And she goes,
expensive.
no, it's Nordstrom Rack, which is like, she's like, oh, it's last season stuff that didn't sell. I'm like, oh, that's bougie's
That is bougie.
last season, but
Ross is like at least 2 to 3 seasons back.
Ross is just like, we have mass amounts of shit that may or may not have been worn by somebody at one point.
When I ended there.
Yeah.
Oh, Stacky
Wait, God,
Poos.
she's going deaf too, and that's terrible. Deaf and blind, aren't we?
Well, love you. See you guys
Later.
some other time.